We are glad to be with you on this beautiful morning, getting things going. It is a Wednesday morning, normally a wild card Wednesday. Literally, it will be a wild card Wednesday as it is National Signing Day all over the country. So we'll get things going. But before we do, as we remind you each and every day that this is a day that the Lord has made. So let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. Good morning, X. How you doing, sir?
Good morning. I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing good. Glad to have you with us. We'll be talking recruiting here in just a moment. We'll also talk Bama hoops. Buzzsaw kind of night last night. Also, get your thoughts on a couple events from the evening, and then we'll end things out with Scotty Hollins recruiting, not recruiting director, Scotty Hollins of executive director for Blueprint Ministry, presented by Johnson and Marshall Dentistry. Let's this morning. Let's go ahead and get a couple things before we get into the recruiting. I know that Joe's going to be jumping in and out of here on the conversation. Uh, People already starting to sign, and just kind of shows you the national reach of college football, right, Joe? Who gets? We're going to have like in football, Joe. They have. Mr. Irrelevant in the NFL draft, we're going to have to come up with a name for the first person to sign a national letter of intent. But we already have a winner for today, and who is that?
According to West Virginia on SI, uh, Oliver Straw, all the way from Australia, is the first one to submit an LOI today. So coming all the way from halfway across the world, these guys are excited to get their names signed on the dotted line and get ready for college football.
Now, here's the question, Joe. Does he sign by his time when he can sign, or does the clock start on our side?
It's got to be on our side. So, what is Australia a day ahead or a day behind? I think they're ahead.
Yeah, they're ahead.
So, I guess
Yeah.
that made him have to wait an extra day.
Yeah. So, isn't that interesting? But I'm assuming he's an offensive lineman.
He's a punter.
Surprise, surprise. A punter from Australia. Oh my God. How did they find that diamond in a rough? Just kidding. That is definitely, of course, Alabama having their own version of an Australian punter who got better as the season went along. And we hadn't talked about it, Joe, but in the championship game, he was better. He added a few yards to his punting average. So, but that I thought that was pretty neat story. Joe, you've been tasked with coming up for a name for the first player to sign a national letter of intent. So, all right.
I like his eagerness. I like his excitement. Go ahead and get in. I guess at 6:05 Central Time. It sounds like he's ready to get to Morgantown and kick some footballs.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess if we were taking a straw poll, who would be that first person for the Crimson Tide? I guess would be an interesting conversation to see
I
which
think it's Jeremiah Alexander.
has he signed already, or you think he will
Well,
be?
him and Traquan Fegans. I think they're both signing at 9 a.m. this morning, and I don't know if we have anybody before that.
So, and of course, Jerry Alexander, young kid from Thompson, led his team to a state championship. We'll get back to recruiting real quick, but just get your thoughts real quick on Bryce Young and the Heisman Trophy and how that went down at Xavier.
Yeah, I mean it was a little bit of a runaway for Bryce, but yeah, I mean it's definitely deserved, and he had the best season. You know, when you really look back at it, it wasn't a offensive season like you see most years. That's why I think you have Aiden Hutchinson finishing second, Will Anderson finishing fifth, but actually third in first place votes. Uh, but Bryce was definitely the most outstanding football player this year. on the offensive side of the ball, and it tends to be an offensive reward. So, yeah, definitely deserving from Bryce as just a sophomore and a first-year starter.
Yeah, and he still has time to add to that 4,300 yards. It's possible that he could end up with, right at 5,000 yards passing. And he has 43 touchdowns, so he could end what's Tua's record? 44? Is it 44?
Uh,
44,
I
45?
think no, it might be
Or
43. Yeah,
is
he
it
might
40?
be
Did he
tied with
tie
it.
it?
I think he tied it.
Okay, I knew he was close. I didn't know the exact number on Tua, but yeah, Bryce Young having a great season in terms of what's happening there. Um, a couple other quick things. Well, let's just go ahead and get into recruiting. We'll get back to Dan. I want to get your thoughts on Georgia and Dan Lanning, and yesterday. Um, Dabo, even though he lost coaches, he kept it close to the breast. He went with internal hires, and one of those people getting promoted, Mickey Kahn, was actually a teammate of ours, walk on defensive back at Alabama, and has worked his way up through the ranks. So Dabo staying close to the vest, and so is Kirby. So maybe they learned something from Nick Saban when you have a changeover, uh, already have your guys ready to go, right? So we'll talk about that, but let's get to recruiting, and of course, I think Pat is holding for us to talk a little recruiting, and we'll get to Bama hoops in a minute as well. Pat, go ahead.
Good morning. Hey, is X's Booze up on recruiting?
Yes, sir.
Hey, okay, let's talk about a diamond in the rough that Coach Saban is bringing in, a military coup in the state of Texas. And this kid's name was Miller. This running back possesses 10,700 meter speed. That kills. I don't care who you are. What do you think, Alexander?
Yeah, I definitely think he's going to be a.
Xavier, I'm sorry.
It's all good. I think Jamarion Miller is that missing type of running back that Alabama had this year. We didn't have a Keelan Robinson who would have been a big part of the offense if he had stayed, or a Josh Jacobs type, and I think Jamarion can be that. But I also wouldn't be surprised if Emmanuel Henderson is using a very similar fashion as well. Both of these guys have top end speed, so I think they both added a dimension to the offense that we were missing this year.
I just like I said, I just wanted to bring up that the coach had gone out and found us a diamond in the rough besides the 5-star that we have. Oh, and I'm so excited about what Coach Saban is doing with this class. I think this class is going to help us win several more titles before Coach Saban decides to hang up the clipboard. And it's a great time to be an Alabama fan. And
it's been a great time for a while, hasn't it, Pat?
Well, hey, my question for Xavier is who is going to be the player, the one that nobody is really talking about that's going to sign with Alabama today?
That isn't committed.
Yes.
It's kind of hard, because most of the guys that we're going after are big name guys. I think if of guys that is kind of up in the air with right now, I would have to lean Marvin Jones Jr. And I think he can be potentially a Dallas Turner, Will Anderson type presence on the edge. Might not get on the field very much next year due to all of the returning guys we have: Anderson, Braswell, Sanders, and Turner. But I think he's a guy that you'll see in 2023 make a big impact on this team.
Yes, 2023, when we have a quarterback from the state of Louisiana coming in. All right. Yeah, right.
Ah,
Okay. Y'all have a blessed day. And hey, let's say, but I want to say, Martin, I yearn for the days of old when we had a fax machine floor level with beautiful crimsonettes receiving the fax. I just don't understand why they made that not a good thing.
well, technology. These kids don't have access to fax machines.
Yeah, right.
All
Okay. All
right.
right.
Thanks,
Hey,
Pat.
it was great. All right. Bye bye.
Have a good one. All right. When you look at Alabama, Alabama currently sitting number 2 in overall recruiting class, behind Georgia. At Georgia has 312.07 points. Alabama has 307.01 points. But this is the part I don't get how they do the recruiting classes, but that's fine. Alabama has 21 commits and 307 points. Uh, and Georgia has 27 commits and 312 points. Alabama's average per player is 95.81, and Georgia is sitting at 92.80. The only other 94 is the Ohio State Buckeyes at 94.22, and they only have 19 commits. So we'll break down. We'll look inside some of the numbers of recruiting coming back on the other side. We'll continue. If you want to get in on the conversation, talk a little recruiting. We'll talk about Marvin Jones. We'll talk about Shaz Preston and whoever else Alabama may be trying to get into the fold on this early signing period right here on the Martin Houston Show with X's and O's, Xavier Houston.
100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no wrecks and traffic fairly light on this Wednesday morning. Watch out for all the orange cones on McFarland. And if you do see conditions, please give us a call, 205-886-8886. The year-round clearance is on now at Townsend Nissan. They're your hometown dealer with an amazing selection, low finance rates, and they really need your trade.
Is finding seasonal help on your wish list? You need Indeed, the all-in-one platform for interviewing, screening, and hiring high-quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
The city of Tuscaloosa's favorite outdoor ice skating rink is back and better than ever in a new location. Come find us at Government Plaza from November 22nd through January 17th. Skate passes and season tickets can be purchased at holidaysontheplaza.com and make great stocking stuffers. Looking to host a private party or celebration? We've got you covered. Learn more about private party packages at holidaysontheplaza.com.
Have you ever missed Christmas? The innkeeper did. He was busy caring for his guest. King Herod did. He thought the baby Jesus would take his throne, alter his lifestyle. The chief priest missed Christmas. They were too religious to leave Jerusalem. The humble shepherds and the wise men did not miss it. God gives grace to the humble, and wise men still seek him. Which are you? Have a Merry Christmas from Taco Casa.
You know when you order a new video game, or a golf club, or a blender, and then it arrives at your door, you get a little thrill. Imagine how much more thrilling it is when you order a new car. With Nissan at home, you can shop for the perfect ride and order it without ever having to go anywhere. Sure beats a golf club or a blender. Buy a new car entirely online with Nissan at home. Delivered direct from dealer to driveway. Thrill starts here. Services may vary at participating dealers, subject to applicable law. See dealer for details.
Everything is better at Benton Nissan. At Benton Nissan of Bessemer and Benton Nissan of Hoover, you get an even bigger selection. We have more than 400 used cars on the ground. Don't pay above sticker for new cars when we have like-new used cars waiting for you. Drive a little, save a lot at Benton Nissan of Bessemer, 5487 Academy Way, and Benton Nissan of Hoover, 1640 Montgomery Highway. Benton Nissan, your friend in the car business. For qualified customers, see dealer for details. Everything is better at Benton Nissan.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A mild December day. The sky partly to mostly sunny. The high today 71. Clear tonight with a low of 54. Even warmer tomorrow and Friday. Partially sunny both days. The high tomorrow 72, the high Friday at 75. I'm James Spann with the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 52 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Scott Smith and Sophomart Design, doing business for 17 plus years, specializing in graphic design services, commercial printing, promotional products, advertising specialties, and so much more. Basically, any and everything you would need to advertise, promote, and grow your business. Through strong partnerships, strong customer service, and creative ideas, they'll help you market and grow your business. Give Scott a call at 205-292-4680 or email scottis@comcast.net and visit them online at sophmartdesign.com.
Interact with the Martin Houston Show by calling us at 205-342-9904 or tuning into the Martin Houston Show on Facebook.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9. Quick basketball chat real quick. Last night, man, it seemed like Virgil Williams thinks that the team may have been listening to rat poison on top of running into a buzzsaw. I don't know if the team necessarily – I know they ran into a buzzsaw. I don't know if they necessarily were not prepared to play. Offense doesn't always travel. Defense always travels. And the threes weren't falling last night. But I think we caught a Memphis team that was desperate, that was on a 4-game losing streak, but had a lot of talent. And in basketball, it's about matchup. And in the last 2 games, 2 areas, if I'm watching film on Alabama, going into the game now, I'm working on offensive boards because we've shown a weakness there, and pick and roll defense. So thoughts on the game last night real quick.
Yeah, it was just a bad shooting night. Guys that are normally hitting were missing, and not only were they missing, but they were putting up more. So, once we got behind, it just kind of threw off the game plan, and we weren't able to recover. And, hey, Memphis has a good pedigree. They've got Penny Hardaway as their head coach. I mean, they're a good team that had a bad spell, and Alabama caught them on a good night. So,
yeah, and like I said, they found their pick and roll was working. And
yes,
I will give it to them. They didn't go away from it. They didn't go away from it. And then when we tried to adjust to stopping the inside guy, they kicked it out and the threes fell. They had a little period there where we had about 4 turnovers in a row, and they got 2 threes and two dunks. I mean, if you want to get going in basketball, especially in the college game, but just about any game, dunks and threes. And they had about 4 possessions in a row where they got either or, finishing at the rim or finishing with some big threes way outside the 3-point line. Kudos to Penny Hardaway and his team. They took down one of the nation's top basketball teams in Alabama. And if you're Alabama, you'd rather have all of those things be exposed during this time of the non-conference, and they'll have a chance to get it back right and get things going before the SEC starts up. And I think that this is going to end up being their 2 losses. I think if you're going to lose to two teams and win 2 games, I think they won the 2 they should have won as far as street cred. And I would also say that they lost to 2 teams that will end up being good losses down the stretch if those teams continue to play. C.J. Watson said, I'd say Bama's focus was off. I don't know if listen, when we say focus is off, I think their focus was off because of that defense. I mean, that's what Memphis is known for. And I think defense they got in our head. Defensive fundamentals broke down all over the place. When that happens, defense doesn't turn into offense, so our fast break game virtually disappeared. They ran the pick and roll to perfection, and we never figured out how to defend it. And I don't know how much pick and roll we face per se in a given time. So I thought it was a great offensive scheme. Let's we got Super Joe. Super Joe, you're in with the Martin Hughes Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Oh, man, everything all great. And man, if they're scared about the players when we get back in practice, I've seen what though. I got one point. How Brian Robinson, how's he recovering?
I guess he's fine. I mean, he's going to take time. The best thing for Brian Robinson's injury is rest, and so until he's back out there full time and pushing it, it's really hard to say. But as far as I know, he's doing fine, Super Joe.
Okay, that's good. That's good to know because I look at it like this. When they get back to practice, and I look at like this. One thing about this with Cincinnati, and I'm glad to see that they got in the playoffs. And I ain't gonna say they don't deserve that. I just don't. I'm be honest with you. I just don't think Cincinnati's gonna be able to handle it because I'm be honest with you. I just see them. I don't see the speed. I don't see the physicality. And I don't see. I don't see them. I don't be able to see them hanging. I do believe that Cincinnati's gonna go out there and do what they can. I believe by the end of the third quarter, I don't feel no different than Michigan. You remember how the players in Michigan were just passing out, at the end of the third and fourth quarter when Alabama had 3 losses. And them jokers Michigan State were passing out.
Yeah. Well, Super Joe, if Cincinnati is still close going into to the third quarter, into the third quarter against Alabama, I say it's a win for the group of 5.
Yeah,
I think if it's still entertaining after 3 quarters, then I would say that Cincinnati proves that the group of 5 belongs, because you're talking about the group of 5 going against the number 1 team, the most dominant program in college football history. In the middle, you still have to say it's the middle of a run. You can't say it's at the end since Alabama's defending their national title. So I say if they take it into the fourth quarter and it's still an interesting game, I say the group of 5 wins. If they're blown out by halftime, then the group of 5's argument will be put in a barrel, sealed up tight, and put in a time capsule to be brought back out at some much later date. So, all right, thanks, Super Joe. Appreciate you, man.
Take care, partner.
Take care. All right, we got Xavier. You want to say anything about that?
Oh no, I definitely agree with the fact that if Alabama is blowing them out, it kind of destroys the argument that the group of 5 has been having, saying that they belong. But if Cincinnati can make this a competitive game, it pushes the narrative forward that all it takes is the right team on the right day.
Yeah, and no one is expecting Cincinnati to win, but no one is expected the number 4 team to beat the number 1 team any other time either. So Cincinnati being number 4 and getting beaten is not going to end their narrative. It's just how they get beat will determine, whether they stay in the conversation next year or not. All right, let's get to Robert from Mobile. Robert, you're in with the Martin Houston Show with X's and O's. Xavier Houston, what's on your mind?
Let's not forget Alabama was number 14 one time.
Yeah, well,
that was second in 2016.
Hey, and guess what? We that number 14 made it past number 1, but got shellacked for 3 quarters. If Kirby continues to play, hey, Bama fan, we're champions, and you play the game. But if Kirby knew how to coach with a lead and not to lose, he would be his teams have outplayed Alabama, but you don't get credit for outplaying anybody for 3.5, 4 quarters. You only get credit when you win the game. In 2 games against Kirby, Robert, do you know how the first 2 times we played him, you know how many minutes we actually had to lead?
No, man.
Less than 2. The first game we never led. First game we never led. Huh?
Yeah, I'm kind of nervous about the last game. We went in the lead with a halftime with a lead. I don't mind that. Everybody have us where he wants to.
That's the first time. Like the first game we didn't lead at all. The second game we led. I think we took the lead with like 2 minutes, just under 2 minutes to go with Jalen, and then he came here and they had to lead at halftime, and he changed it. He stopped being aggressive and all that, and he let us come back. It's just, and then he was up 10-0 in this game. I mean, he plays not to lose. With Alabama, you got to play to win. You got to play 4 quarters to win if you're going to beat Alabama, and he hadn't figured that out, and I hope he doesn't. All right.
The 5, if Cincinnati were to somehow Alabama falls all over themselves and lose, they just prove Cincinnati wrong. They won't prove the group 5. So, okay, if Cincinnati, you're good. Well, let's not go overboard with the rest of the group 5. I agree with Curtis. I don't see this game being competitive even until halftime. I think Alabama. I'm looking at the team Cincinnati struggled against. You let Tulsa rush for 300 yards. Really? But Alabama's not going to pocket for 250, 300? No, that's not going to happen. If our running game's going, I don't see this game big enough for halftime. Hey, Ty Simpson, is he coming next year in 2022?
Yes, he signs this year.
He's signing today.
He'll ink today.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. Okay, well that'd be good. He can get in and learn the system the way Bryce did. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Learn as a freshman, highly overrated. Get in there and learn the system under a good teacher. That's the best way to get yourself acclimated.
So if Ty Simpson inks today, who's leaving the quarterback room?
I don't think anybody is.
You don't think Paul Tyson will leave?
I don't think Paul Tyson will leave until he has a degree that says he's an Alabama graduate.
Oh, well, yeah, you're right. That's a good point.
When will that be? Does he graduate in December?
No, they've already had graduation.
Yeah,
they've already had graduation, and he wasn't one of them. So my bet would be May or next December is the opportunity for him to graduate.
So, well, it'll be interesting to see. He still may put his name in the portal.
Yeah. And it's not mind-blowing that he sticks around and gets an opportunity. Him and Bryce he's a red shirt, but him and Bryce are the same class.
Yep.
Same classification.
Yeah, I mean, he still has 2 years, potentially 3. I shouldn't say potentially 3. So, but
I would say I haven't seen anything in Paul Tyson that says Alabama starting quarterback right now. But then I said the same thing about Mac Jones when he was competing against Jalen Tua.
Yep.
So magic can happen.
He's a lot like Mac Jones in terms of his approach and his build, and he's actually a little bigger than Mac Jones.
He's a lot bigger.
Yeah, so
a lot bigger.
Yeah, so it's possible, and I don't know if you saw it. It'll be interesting to see what happens with our wild card quarterback Jalen Milroe. Will he stick it out? He seems to be a young man of high character, and I don't know if you saw the tweet that was put out by Dr. Ray showing Jalen Milroe his routine. Is he goes off by himself and reads his Bible by himself before every game, and he was just talking about that side of the character the Bama fans don't get to see. So we'll watch that and see. But I think the Ty Simpson thing, just with the ease of getting into the transfer portal and stuff, somebody will probably be gone out of the 4 that'll be on campus next year, and Will Barker potentially leave? Will he go somewhere where he could potentially play? So it's a lot of guys in that room, and I think a lot of talent in that room. Contrary to what
Braxton did graduate.
Yeah,
Braxton did graduate Saturday, so it's a possibility. For some of these legacy guys, if they know they might not get an actual chance, but they want to say, "Hey, I'm an Alabama graduate," it can mean something. That means something special to you, and then you take your chance and go play somewhere else.
All right. You got anything? Else for us, Robert?
Yeah, a couple of quick questions. Number one, I guess I didn't hear earlier. Who do you guys think is the big one that Alabama won? They can only have one. They want this one on signing day. And the second one is, what do you guys think Bo Nix is trying to do with the transfer portal? Where do you think he's going to go? Where do you think he's going to go? Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Go ahead, Xavier. On who do you think that they want today that they don't have right now?
I mean, I definitely think it's Demani Jackson.
That was my choice. That's who I thought.
Yeah, but if not Demani, I think they want Marvin Jones Jr.
Yeah,
one of those two guys.
And the reason. Go ahead.
No, I just think those are the top two guys on the board. If we can get either one of them or both of them, I think that'll be a major win for Alabama.
I think Demani Jones, from a need standpoint, DB standpoint, you need a lot of those guys. And so it's an area of need for depth and just helping the team. Jones, from a standpoint, it has twofold. He's down between us and Georgia, and I know Georgia's making a full court press to get him.
Yes.
And so you do kind of the Bear Bryant thing of you get a guy that they want as well as a guy that helps you win. So it's twofold. He'd be a good addition to Bama, but he'd also keep him from being at Georgia. Just think if Nakobe Dean was here, the impact that would have had on Alabama in the Georgia matchup. Georgia's not as good, and Alabama's even better. So that's what a Marvin Jones represents. As far as Bo Nix, I've heard the reason, the conversation, and I said this, and I don't know this for a fact, but I did hear from an Auburn follower that they had a meeting with Brian Harsin, they being dad and son. And I think that Bo Nix was getting coached differently than he's ever been coached. And it was direct contrary to the way Bo Nix has been coached by his dad, Patrick Nix. And I think maybe egos got in the way, but I think there was some demands made of Brian Harsin. And he said, hey, we can do it without you, baby. And I think Tank Bixby came in there wanting to leave, and I think Harsin's begged him to stay and said, we can't do it without you. Thus, you see Bo Nix going. I don't know where Bo Nix goes. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't end up back with Gus Malzahn.
Central Florida.
Florida.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
I wouldn't be surprised by that potentially. I think Bo Nix has the body, the style, and the potential, if coached well, to be a good college football player. I don't. He's just inconsistent because of fundamentals, and if he works on those, I think he has the potential to be a good quarterback.
Yeah, he's one of those situations where the dad, who was extremely talented, might have done a little too much. And you get that sometimes. You get, me and Xavier were blessed that you let our coaches coach us, and you gave your input to us to help make us better football players. But sometimes dads can be a little overbearing in that regard because of their status and stature.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem with talking to coaches. It's just you let that coach know it's his decision. It's what he decides, and if you don't like that, you do what they're doing. I'm not knocking Bo Nix for leaving. I'm just saying that I think that they expected a different result, and Harsin was like, we got a transfer from LSU that when healthy gives us just as good a chance to win as Bo Nix did, and then he got his quarterback out of Baton Rouge on the commitment list. And speaking of the commitment list, we'll come back on the other side, run down the guys who are committed to Alabama and kind of where Alabama stands and whether or not we think we'll give our prediction on whether or not we think they can get to the number one class. That conversation coming up next right here on the Martin Houston Show.
100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no wrecks and traffic fairly light on this Wednesday morning. Watch out for all the orange cones on McFarland. And if you do see conditions, please give us a call, 205-886-8886. The year-end clearance is on now at Townsend Nissan. They're your hometown dealer with an amazing selection, low finance rates, and they really need your trade.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors, Overflow Express Wash. Their mission is to provide great customer service with a showroom clean car and an exceptional customer service experience. They have the basic car wash that starts at $7, but you need to check out the premium wash packages, which start as low as $12 and go up to $20. They also have a membership wash club that you can get for starting at $23.99, going up to $39.99. In other words, just double the regular premium package, drop a penny, and you can be one of the great members of Overflow Express Wash. My family and I keep our cars looking good inside and out by using Overflow Express Wash. They're located on Skyland Boulevard right next door to Alabama 1, or you can find them online at overflowexpresswash.com. Andy Phillips and his team look forward to making you a part of their team.
You know when you order a new video game, or a golf club, or a blender, and then it arrives at your door, you get a little thrill. Imagine how much more thrilling it is when you order a new car. With Nissan at home, you can shop for the perfect ride and order it without ever having to go anywhere. Sure beats a golf club or a blender. Buy a new car entirely online with Nissan at home, delivered direct from dealer to driveway. Thrill starts here. Services may vary at participating dealers, subject to applicable law. See dealer for details.
I need a gift for the person who has everything. Everything, including a super thoughtful daughter.
It's possible with Staples Connect.
I need a holiday tech gift for my husband that will make his jaw drop at a price that won't drop mine.
Also possible, because Staples Connect has big savings on the hottest holiday tech gifts. Now, Apple AirPods Pro are just $169. Explore all the great holiday tech at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com. Staples Connect, the working and learning store. Ends 12/18, limit 2, in-store only while supplies last.
Nick Saban calls it the process. John Maxwell said that everything rises and falls on it. And Coach Wooden said it's what you learn after you think you know it all that makes the difference. What am I talking about? Leadership and personal development. Is your organization, your school, your church, your family, are they receiving the proper level of leadership development and personal development? If not, the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring can help you with that. We have our pep talks, which is a 1 to 1.5 hour lunch and learn, which we can customize to meet your needs, or we have some topics that we present that we know can help your organization. And if you're looking for one-on-one mentoring and coaching, we can also assist you with that. Visit peptalks35.com, that's peptalks35.com, or send an email to martin@martinhouston.org. That's the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show. Don't forget about Overflow Express Wash. Overflow Express Wash. Go check them out. Keep your car clean inside and out. And also Alabama One. Alabama One Insurance is where you can find all of your insurance needs. And Alabama One Credit Union, where you can find all of your financial services. You need a new car, you need a new home, wealth advisory, credit card. If you're in the market for a boat, ATV, for the Christmas holiday, you can get a great rate, great service, great people at Alabama One. Alabama One together. All right, X, we got just a few minutes before we have to get to Scotty Hollins. Real quick on this. Alabama sitting at number 2 right now with 27 commits. Georgia sitting at number 1 with 27 commits, 4 5 stars. 16 4 stars, 7 3 stars for an average of 92.8, total 312.07. Alabama sitting at number 2 with only 21 commits, 3 5 stars, 16 4 stars, and only 2 3 stars for 94.81, 307.81. Texas A&M, so you picking up a trend here. Texas A&M sitting at number 3. The top 3 teams right now, SEC, and that doesn't bode well for the rest of college football at all. And now you throw in future SEC. Texas is that number 6, and so you got 4 potential SEC teams when you recruit forward. But anyway, Alabama looking to get a couple guys. We think if they could get the money, Jackson, Marvin Jones. Who else do you think they would go after today if they could get one?
I don't really know as far as that we lost Everett to Georgia yesterday. Harris seems to be staying at home. Denver Harris seems to be staying at home, either Texas or Texas A&M. So I don't know really if there's anybody outside the Rams, but you've got the guys from Louisiana, Shaz Preston and Kendrick Law. I think those are 2 guys that Alabama would love to get both of them. And I think Kendrick Law can actually play a little bit of running back as well, even though he's listed as a wide receiver. So once again, that added dynamic of a pass catcher out of the backfield. Potentially Earl Little Jr., I know we really want him, and I think we have him. As Hank's been preaching the last few times, it looks like Robert Woodard is going to flip to Auburn. So that opens up another spot for somebody. And I also believe that Walter Bob is not going to sign today because it doesn't look like he's going the JUCO route.
Yeah. And then, of course, we got Curtis Perry, D lineman from Pike Road. He seems to be leaning Alabama. He is a defensive lineman, 6'2", 265 from Pike Road. Another guy, Jihad Campbell. I think what happens with Marvin Jones determines whether or not he, commits and signs. He's a edge rusher, 6'3", 215, but he plays at IMG Academy as a guy with kind of an Alabama lean. And did you say you think that Kendrick Law is going to choose LSU? It seems to be he's leaning more LSU than Alabama.
Yeah, I think he ends up going to LSU. I think of the 2 between Preston and Law, we would end up with Preston. But I know Alabama has been making a push for Law over the last week or so heavy.
And, does Damani Jackson's commitment impact Earl Little Jr. or not?
Well, Damani's not signing till Friday. So I think he's waiting to see how things shake out and where some of these other top guys go before he makes his final decision.
So Earl Little Jr., 6 foot, 175-pound corner from American Heritage down in Florida, just outside of
down here where I'm at. I went and watched him and Marvin Jones play one game this year. Those boys, Alabama would love that both.
Okay, and he's just outside of the top 100. He's sitting at 101, so be a good pickup for Alabama. Prediction: do you think Alabama slides into that number 1 spot today? Will we sign enough guys
to overtake?
Because I mean that, and that's the crazy part about this. It's already at the early signing period. They already have 27 commitments. Yeah. I mean that used to be 2 more than the limit. And I don't know if someone was telling me, and we'll have to ask Hank this. Does the the transfer portal give them a little extra, give them the ability to sign an extra guy or 2?
Well, from what I understand, you don't. I mean, you have the guys that leave early for the draft. That opens up more scholarships. You have the transfer portal, that opens up more scholarships. So it gives you the ability to sign more guys. So, Georgia's going to have a lot of guys, especially off of the defensive side of the ball, leaving here early. So it opens the door for a few more signees. But I don't know if we'll be able to overtake them just because of the pure numbers of it, unless we get all of these guys to sign with us. If you're talking Harris, Jackson, Jones, things like that. But I think we will maintain the highest point average. And to me, that's more important than the number of guys you sign. That gives you a higher point total, but the average of the players that you get.
Yeah, and right now we're sitting, I think, 2 points ahead. We're 2 full points ahead on the average per player than Georgia at 94.81 versus 92.8. And like I said, the only other one that's in the 94s is Ohio State. So, well, we'll continue to break this down. We'll talk more. We'll know more tomorrow when it comes to who signed where and what's left in the recruiting calendar in terms of the second signing period. Early signing period starts today. Doesn't end today. It starts today. And Alabama looking to bring in a big haul. Stay tuned to Tide 109 all day long, but also make sure you're following Tide 109 on the website, because there'll be articles going up all day long. Coming back on the other side, we will get with Scotty Hollins, Executive Director, Blueprint Ministries, presenting our Champions of Faith, Champions of Character through the school system, presented by Johnson & Marshall Dentistry.
100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no wrecks and traffic fairly light on this Wednesday morning. Watch out for all the orange cones on McFarland. And if you do see conditions, please give us a call, 205-886-8886. The year-end clearance is on now at Townsend Nissan. They're your hometown dealer with an amazing selection, low finance rates, and they really need your trade.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good Wednesday morning. The Tuscaloosa City Council has tabled a resolution that would revoke the business license of the Masters Inn that's located at 3600 McFarland Boulevard East. The former owner of the motel was arrested for his alleged involvement in promoting prostitution in 2017. There have been numerous other police calls to that motel. Councilman Cassius Lanier told news partner WVOA 23 the council wants to make sure they do the right thing. Click TuscaloosaThread.com for more local news, sports, and weather. I'm Don Hartley.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about Tuscaloosa Custom Carving. If you're looking for a way to add value to your home, make your flower beds pop, make your landscaping stand out from your neighbors, then Carving LLC.
In a collision, easy decision. One name, one firm, one call. Mesrano.
I made that one call to Mesrano after being hit by an 18-wheeler. He got me $875,000.
I made that one call to Mesrano after being T-boned on McFarland. He got me $125,000.
I made that one call to Mesrano after my fender bender. He got me $50,000.
One call, one firm. Mesrano. No representations with the quantity of legal services to be performed. Is where the quantity of legal services performed at the law.
You may be into punk rock, soft rock, or classic rock, R&B, hip hop, or house, country, techno, or techno country. But no matter what kind of music you listen to, here's something else you should hear. Please consider getting vaccinated. Talk to your pharmacist today about Comirnaty, COVID-19 vaccine mRNA. This message brought to you by BioNTech and Pfizer.
The sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team. The Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show. It's time for us to kick things off with our Executive Director of Blueprint Ministry, Scotty Hollins, giving us our Champions of Character presented by Johnson Marshall Dentistry. All right. I think, can we drop the music? All right. Scotty couldn't hear us, but we got Scotty Hollins joining us. Scotty's going to give us our Champions of Character right here, Executive Director of Blueprint Ministry. Take it away, Scotty.
Okay, all right. We will be talking about our I told you there are 5 basic lies that we believe, in terms of our identity. The first one was, I am what I have, right? And we said this is really important during this Christmas season because we can easily be distracted, easily be deceived into focusing on the wrong things. And I think that's all of us. And so the first lie we wanted to dispel was that I am because I have, right?
Right.
We talked about what is the profit of man from the Bible? What is the profit of man to gain the whole world yet lose his soul, right? And so when you think about I am because I have, listen, if you have everything in this world that this world has to offer, but you have not accepted Jesus, then you don't have the only thing that you really need. Right? It's funny how these passages, they compare a few things like, okay, what is the profit of man to gain the whole world? But they compare it to eternity. What is the profit of man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? Well, guess what? Today's lie that we will dispel is I am because I do. I am because I do. And what's funny is once again, in the gospel, we see a comparison of what we do to eternity. Again, like I guess it's so easy for us all to be deceived into thinking that, again, I'm so focused on what I have and that's who I am. I'm so focused on what I do and that's who I am. He said, don't be so focused on that you miss the big picture, that you miss focusing on what matters most. So here's the passage today. And I want to dispel that lie. I am because I do. Doing is great, but I want to make sure that we understand where identity truly comes. Many, this is Matthew 7:22-23. It says, many will say to me on that day, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name? And did we not drive demons out in your name? And did we perform miracles in your name? Then he will say to them plainly, he says, depart from me, away from me, because I never knew you. And so let me tell you this. Again, when we talk about our identity, we say, we don't need to be deceived into thinking that we are our identity because we do. Let me tell you where your identity comes from. You are because of what Christ has done. Okay? And so let's find our identity there, that Jesus Christ came, and let's start that. God loves us, has an amazing plan for our life. Jesus, well, let me actually back up again. God loves us, has a plan for our life, but listen, we are sinners. Romans 3:23 says, for all have sinned and fallen short of God's glory. That's every single one of us. Even Martin, believe it or not. Even Martin.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's Martin. Hey, we all follow the same. We're all in the same boat. So listen, all have sinned and fallen short of God's glory. But here's the good news. Remember, I said we are because of what Christ has done. Understand this. Jesus Christ lived a perfect life, right? And then Jesus Christ died on the cross for our sins. And then Jesus Christ rose on the third day to prove that he really was who he said he was. So that all those who place their faith in his finished work, again, he lived a perfect life, the life we should have lived. He died on the cross, the death that we should have died. We're the criminals, we're the sinners. And he rose on the third day, again, so that all those who would place their faith alone, not faith and something they did, not faith and, see, I did all this stuff over here, Jesus. You look all that, you see that long list? That's better than his list. That's better than that person's list. No. Faith alone in Christ alone in what he has done alone. And for all those who place their faith in Christ, they are completely forgiven for all of their sins. Guess what? That happened to me. I was 19 years old. I'm 44 now. So 25 years ago, it was around December, late December. So I'm about to celebrate my 25th spiritual birthday, and I'm so excited about that. But my point is this: that's where my identity is. My identity is in Christ, and therefore that identity is unshakable. So during this season, this Christmas season, I want to encourage you: don't be deceived by the lie. I am what I have. No. Don't be deceived by that one. Don't be deceived by the lie that I am what I do. All right? Understanding you are what Christ has done if you place your faith in Christ.
All right. That is awesome. By what he did and not you can do, will do, or have done. Tell them real quick where they can find you, sir.
Absolutely. You go to www.blueprinttuscaloosa.com. You can send me a message there. It comes straight to my email. We'll have a double dose of championship character for you next week.
That's awesome. Thank you, Scotty. And we'll talk to you next week. And we'll holler out. Thanks for doing what you do, man. All right. Hey, listen, guys, I want to remind you of this, that we got great players signing with Alabama, but I know of one local kid I had the opportunity to coach today, this year, signing with South Alabama, Kenton Gerardo, signing with the University of South Alabama today, and also Witt, who's a quarterback at Northridge, signing a baseball scholarship. And we'll find out all the other kids from West Alabama, Tuscaloosa, and we'll give them a shout out as well. Thanks, X, with X's and O's Sports. Find them on all of the social media platforms. I'm Martin Houston. That's X. That's Joe behind the glass pressing all the right buttons. Hey, remember this: trust in the Lord always. Lean not your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. And once again, shout out to Northridge's Kenton Gerardo, signing with South Alabama today, and Witt also signing with Winfield signing with Shelton to play baseball. Roll Tide to everyone, and we'll catch you on tomorrow with all of the updates on the signing period, early signing period. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.